Okay, not that it matters, since majority rule is an ugly and foolish proposition. So there you go. Thomas Jefferson was an asshole, right? The founding fathers are all assholes. I mean, I think they obviously couldn't design a democracy we could design today, because we have technology, we have communication skills they didn't have, and abilities. Took a week to get, across a couple of states. So anyway, but I think our democracy needs improvement. But you don't think democracy should even exist? I mean, majority rule. I mean, isn't it the same thing? So some part of the electorate should have their votes suppressed, should have their will suppressed. We should have George Bush's winning elections by a gimmick. That's the way you want it. All right, so then I threw in a little bit of a personal story about, not even a personal story, but about the fact that yes, I'm a little too empathetic, and so I gave an analogy of a circumstance where somebody might be able to understand that why my life might be a little bit uncomfortable, because I have a perception of feeling pain that exists as if I live next door to it. And so your response is, boo-hoo, shoot the evil motherfucker. I don't know, and what the rest of it was, sorry I didn't type it in right. And, put an end to it, and end with it, or whatever. So, I mean, yeah, that's... I mean, that's the kind of thing I would expect from somebody who calls himself a genius. Yeah, incredible. All right, so I made the point that we're all just things you play with. We're the blocks in your little sandbox. That's what humanity is to you, and just food. And you said pretty much so with a question mark. I don't know what the question mark was for. Pretty much so. Yes. Well, maybe you'll give that a thought someday. All right. So let's see. Then there was some other point you made, and then you said just like the Jews, niggers, spics, commies, and faggots. So you were implying that I have biases and bigotries, and that because I have a problem with people who advocate social policies, I'm a racist, and I would kill them. Interesting. Fascists like you are always talking about the threat some segment of society poses. Yeah, I'm talking about the asshole threat. I think if we took a poll on the public street and said, should we do something to control assholes? They would say, oh yes, let's control the assholes. I think everybody can agree. Yes, assholes should not run the world. Assholes should not be in control. We should do everything we can to minimize the asshole factor. I don't think that's bigotry. I think it's reason. That's rational. But whatever, it's fine. You wanna call me a fascist? It's whatever. It's a fun word. I use it all the time, but when I'm using it, I'm right. So that's a big difference. I mean, you ought to make fun of that laugh. I just laughed. You can make a whole video to laugh. That's another really. You expect that from a genius when they're making an argument. I wonder what high school debating classes are like now. I wonder if they, they get up in high school debating classes and they just sit there and start ripping on the person. Maybe they get like a picture of a, maybe they're debating a girl and they put a camera in the bathroom, get a picture of her crotch, and they put that in the video or something. To do everything they possibly can, any little cheap trick. Well, I'm never going to play that game. But you can play it all you want, super genius. I mean, super duper genius or galactic genius. We'll just give it galactic genius. I like that. So now we're back onto the 9/11 thing, and so my question was, that 9/11 demonstrated a threat. It illustrated the threat that exists, the combination of technology and violence. And so you said 9/11 demonstrated that sexually repressed extremist Muslims that have never experienced anything bearing even the slightest resemblance to freedom are willing to use extremely low-tech methods to blow shit up and murder motherfuckers like you and me. Well, I'm not a motherfucker like you, I know that for sure. And also know that sexual repressed Muslims have been around a long fucking time. And somehow they weren't as big a threat. And I wonder what has changed. Think about that. What the fuck has changed? There's been loony Christians for a long time too, but it doesn't seem to me that they were blowing up entire government buildings. What has changed? God. So you're just, it really, and then you say, was that a trick question? Yeah, the trick is that we're all going to die because geniuses like you are making fun of the problem. It's just a big joke, isn't it? It's a big fucking joke that we're going to march into this technical revolution and we're going to be as stupid as a George Bush. We're going to walk right into the trap, and the trap's going to come down so fucking hard. It's just amazingly stupid. Alright, so then I made my point about technology and blah blah blah, and I said, I used one little example, you know, we're now not going to have nuclear flying cars if they're nuclear powered. Okay, and so you said, why do they have to be nuclear powered? Well, I'm just saying they have to be powered by something incredibly efficient. They can, you know, derive an incredible amount of energy and force out of something fairly lightweight. So whatever the power is going to be, it's going to be damn fucking powerful, and it could certainly be used, you know, to do a lot of damage in some other way. And they said the nuclear devices wouldn't produce nuclear explosions. If it were that simple, access to nuclear material could to build bombs with ease without bothering the scientists and such. Well, in the first place, maybe, you know, turning any kind of nuclear material into some, you know, fissionable explosive device, maybe that technology is going to change. It seems to me that a lot of technology has improved over time, and that, yeah, the capacity to synthesize a bomb, might find shortcuts to doing that. But regardless, the point is, if somebody flew it into a building, exploded it, massively exploded the vehicle with the material, it could spread it all over a city like New York. And you said short-term exposure to nuclear waste is not significantly harmful. Well, it's not nuclear waste, okay? It would be highly powerful still, highly reactive nuclear material, and it would be in a dust form, vaporized form, and it would be insidiously dangerous. And if it happened in a city like New York, the entire city would have to be evacuated. And you can imagine how many people would die in that process, and how much suffering would be endured, and what it might do to the national economy. But let's not even, what's the point of talking about this? You're using this trivial bullshit to find a way to worm out of a practical reality that cannot be escaped from. You know, it's just stupid.